Okay, the third presenter will be Mark Larbi, who's presenting on the Africa Insurtech Uprising. So Mark started his career as a research analyst at Legal & Allied, a legal tech firm where he picked up the basic rudiments of a tech business. He then joined the Actuarial Society of Ghana as an admin support staff and later became the executive director. As a tech enthusiast, he still consulted for Henson Geodata Technologies as a GIS-based IT firm to develop and claim reporting, mobile app, and management system. Mark's blend of knowledge and understanding across different practices, insurance, technology, and the legal spaces makes him a rare breed of consultant among today's Africa's young professionals. Mark, having pioneered the development of the fastest selling group welfare scheme Insurtech product driven by the Vanguard Life Assurance as a consultant, and he's also the co-founder and team leader at Groupie, a niche Insurtech developing innovative insurance and software products for life and health insurers in Ghana and Africa.
Good morning. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present and give an indication of what's happening in Africa. I was supposed to have done this with Mia, but unfortunately she's unable to make it, so I will do it. Yes. Okay. Sorry. Okay. To start with, I'd like to give you an indication of what the market challenges in Africa looks like. There are a few challenges we've been going through. One of the things is misunderstanding and trust. So we are in an environment where, because of the low penetrations of insurance, a lot of people don't understand the system. Basically the products, and then therefore there is mistrust. We are also having low purchasing power because of the economic conditions in our market. We realize that insurance consumers have very low purchasing power. Cost of regulation is also an issue. The distribution models that have been employed by some insurers is also an issue we are encountering in the African market. Again, the business model also is an issue. We are having very high volumes to low business model with microinsurance businesses. Right, so a few statistics that will give you also an indication of what's happening in our market. So Africa is about 17% of the world's population. Penetration is around 3%. In North America, it's 12.9. In North Africa, it's 12.9. East Africa, 4.8, and so on. Southern Africa is 3.8. When you come to premiums, we make about 68 billion GWP in premiums annually. 91% of that comes from 10 countries across Africa. And we have 70% of these premiums coming from South Africa only. Now, to get the scope of what we are about to discuss, it's important that we actually understand inclusive insurance and how Insurtechs fits into it. It's important because a lot of us have had misguided information, or if you want, the real understanding of what inclusive insurance is. So we say inclusive insurance encompasses the different approaches and systems that enable insurance providers to reach out to entire cross-section of consumers in the market. And it operates on certain principles. And one of the principles are vulnerability, fairness, security, equitability, and then sustainability. Because of that, it targets a certain section of the market in Africa. So this includes the unserved. Unserved are the markets where they've not been reached at all, and it includes both the elites and those that are in the poor regions. For instance, there are no insurance policies covering people that are in the military and all that because of the kind of risk that they come with. So they are part, we classify them as part of the unserved categories. There's also the underserved, where they've not had enough insurance to cover them. We also have those who are very vulnerable, and then the low-income population. So given the target group, the principles, we realized that inclusive insurance cover a range of areas, and that includes microinsurance, embedded insurance, bank assurance, and then Insurtechs. Right, so now we take a look at Insurtechs at a glance. We say Insurtechs generally refers to a company or a product that leverages on technology. This includes infrastructure, platforms, or data to help optimize system efficiency across the insurance value chain. And Insurtechs could take different models. It could take a B2C model, that's directly to the client. It could take a B2B2B. It could also take a B2B business model. We also realize that there are few drivers for Insurtech. So there are a couple of things that are driving Insurtech in Africa, and one of the things is the customer-centeredness. So we are moving into an era where insurers or providers are becoming customer-centered. So that is to say they want to address customer pain points and then create a good customer journey for their client. And this is one of the drivers. Again, we have the mobile economy growing. It's projected, and I'll show you the figures very soon. It's projected that in the next 3 years, we are going to have about 75% penetration of the mobile market in Africa. Again, because of the advancement in technology, Insurtechs are growing. We have IoT, we have payment systems, we have AI, ML, and the natural language processing. There is also tech infrastructure fast growing in Africa. The other issue is penetration. Ability, we are all looking at the ability to reach the masses, the critical masses, in the shortest possible time, and this is one of the drivers of Insurtech. So a quick look at the mobile economy in Africa. You look at the region So you look at the region that is in red, that is sub-Saharan Africa, and we are looking at figures between 2021 and 2025 projected to be 75%. For us, what this says is that there's going to be a lot of use of smart gadgets in the next few years, and that is a key driver. As an insurer or as an Insurtech, you look at these figures and you should start looking at what kind of product you are putting in the market for the next generation of people. Okay, sorry. Right, so the Insurtech journey, Africa's Insurtech journey, just a quick description of what it's been in the last 15 years. So from 2009 through to 2015, it's been more of a USSD-based kind of platforms where we have the likes of Bima monopolizing the market with telesales. And the only technology that was used then was premium collection technology. So we had telcos partnering with some of the small insurers where they are able to collect premiums from their airtime and all that. Those were the early days of technology taking part in insurance. Then over the last 7 to 8 years, from 2016 to 2018, we moved from USSD to web-based apps, and then the use of mobile money platforms as well. So that has been the trajectory. Again, post-COVID, a lot of things changed because then a lot of social distancing and others, so the consumers, the providers had to look for new options of reaching out to the clients. And so these days we have mobile apps that are working, we have AI-driven technologies, we have telemedicine, we have embedded products, we have advanced payment systems that are all aiding in the Insurtech drive in Africa. We want to look at, we'll take a quick look at the Insurtech categorizations that are mainly playing in Africa. We are doing P2P insurance, and I won't go much into that because everybody knows. We also have businesses, tech firms that are now doing end-to-end digitization. What that means is that they are no more selling only administrative systems to insurers. They go a step further to build systems that engages the client as well. So they move from just insurance administration systems to client-based systems as well. Then we have concierge distributions. So concierge distributions has to do with robo-advisors and then aggregator platforms that are also very prevalent in our market. And we also have people building infrastructure so that with no-code platforms, an Insurtech or an insurer can just go use the business process to create a technology for clients to use. We are also having a lot of that coming up in Africa. And then the AI and machine learning based products as well. So I'll touch on a few products that are making a wave in Africa. And it looks like there's a lot of drive in that direction. One of the things I'll talk about is IODs, which are part of the AI and machine learning-powered technologies, Insurtechs. One of them is PayU. PayU has been the first Insurtech to be licensed by the Nigerian Insurance Commission. There's also ETAP, there's AICare. They are basically doing insurance in the sachet form, so where you don't need to buy insurance for an annual cover. You can buy as and when. So, for instance, if you have 2 cars, you may not be using one frequently. So then you get to pay for insurance as and when you need to use it. And it's catching up a lot. What the kind of systems they are also using is they are really engaging payment systems. They are using smartphones and geolocation technologies because all of these are based on real-time data. And so you need some of these things to work within the business process so that it can move. There is also the concierge distribution. A couple of them is the ZIM selector. So the concierge is aggregator platform. Basically, you go there, you put in data of what you want, and then it gives you an indication of the providers and what the cost is likely to be. And one of them that has been very popular in Africa is the WhatsApp chatbots. So especially in Ghana, where I come from, we have a lot, almost all the companies are using chatbots to sell. And that is one of the things that is coming up strongly. Again, in Kenya, it's also picking up. Then there is P2P, and I'll talk about my product shortly. So there's a P2P product we designed for a company in Ghana where it targeted a certain group of people, alumni of schools. It doesn't matter which school, but once you have an alumni group, looking out for other. And these things are designed to also meet the cultural needs of the people in them. So we looked at the market, we looked at the Ghanaian culture and how people revere alumni groups and all that. And we decided to design something that meets that market. And trust me, when we started, in just 6 months, every other insurer started selling the same product. And then the only advantage is that this one runs on technology, so it's a mobile app where the group gets to participate and all that. And these things are coming up. There's also another one in Kenya doing something similar for affinity groups and all that. Now the impact on our market so far has been good. It's driving support for family and friends. Africa has this family system that is still thriving, and though there's been some sort of cultural alienation in the past few years, these products, like the P2P product, tends to keep that family and friend support, and so it's been helpful. That's the social benefit. Again, it fosters bonding within groups and peers. We are also having a healthy society because of the advent of telemedicine product, Insurtech product, and then wearables. And I'm happy to say that these things are meeting up with the UN goals, Sustainable Development Goals, especially Target 3.8. Economic benefit is contributing to national GDPs. We are also having a reduction in unemployment because of the Insurtech value chain. So employing software developers, employing other people that play a part in the whole value chain. Again, financial inclusion and digitization. Because of new payment systems and all that, we are having a drive towards a good financial inclusion. The insurance industry, so I will talk about that in the next page. Shortly, I have a few minutes. I earlier on talked about the challenges we have, and the Insurtech industry is helping to address some of these challenges. In terms of misunderstanding and trust, it's helping in the claim process. Earlier on, you will have to go visit the insurer. Now you do it in the comfort of your home with a mobile app or a web app, or even a chatbot, and you get your claim processed. It's helping process claims faster. We are also having a case where it's the purchasing power because of the use of mobile money and Visa cards in some of the payment platforms, in some of the Insurtech platforms. It's making it easier to pay. And again, cost of regulation, because you are getting to provide data to the regulator without having to go there, and just a plugin could just give the regulator a lot of data. It's helping in regulation. And then the business models and other things. Okay, let me go to the next. Now, where we come in as actuaries, and this is where, for me, it's the most important part of what we are doing. I personally believe that actuaries can play a role in the entire business process of the Insurtech journey. And so in product ideation, because by virtue of our training, and a few of the actuaries that find themselves in business development are able to excel. We understand the markets very well, especially because of the fact that we always need to develop product. And when you need to develop a product, you need to understand the market you are selling to and all that. And so you are able to help in the product development and other things. The system process and then system development and process automation, actuaries can still play a role there. I'm working against that. Marketing and sales. Now we are using a lot of predictive modeling. And again, we are also having to give power to agents on the field to be able to price on the field. So we are developing systems where the agents go to the field with a pricing model with just a UI. He picks a few data, pushes them in, and is able to generate a premium for a client without having to get back to the insurer. Faster sales and all that. Then policy management in terms of systems, claim processing, and then risk modeling. Then I'll talk about my final bits. Okay, so the risk concerns for actuaries and the insurance industry. Much as the Insurtech business is doing great in Africa, there is a lot to look out for, because we are struggling with infrastructure development, IT infrastructure to be specific. And so there's a lot of, these days there's a lot of cyber risk that we have to be concerned about as a community. Regulation risk, again, data protection, and then to end with, there's also functional tech. Most of this technology, for instance, blockchain, I just heard of one of the Insurtech companies working on blockchain technology. These are not fully tested systems. And so sometimes you have to be very careful in the use of it and how people are able to go in there. Again, systemic risk is something we have to be careful about as a community as we go. You can also see that we have, on the average, about 15 Insurtechs coming into the business, registered and popular into the business over the last 3 years, each year. Currently, we have about 57 of them scattered all across the African continent. Again, in the last 2 years, we've been able to raise more than $1.5 billion in funding. For us, what this tells us is that the market is growing. But much as it is growing, we need to consider the risk that surrounds these things, and it's important. Thank you.